Right, welcome. I think you're very well known in the UK cheer industry and all over the world as well. However, for those that don't know who you are, can you introduce yourself? Tell us what you do, who you are.
Oh, well, hi everyone. My name is Caroline and I'm the owner and the founder of Cheer from Head to Toe, a blog that's all about UK cheer. So, yeah.
Awesome. Well, how long have you been doing it now?
I started it in 2011. So it's like this May will be like 10 years, which feels like, it feels crazy. I'm like, wow.
Is it flown by?
Yeah, it really doesn't feel like that long. If it feels more to me, probably maybe like 4 years, but yeah, time just goes like when you get older, time just seems to disappear. So makes sense. You're suddenly like, oh, it's 10 years or almost 10 years.
No, I can relate to that. I can
Yeah.
definitely relate to that. But like, what made you start? Like, how did you get into it? And like,
well, I'd started like cheerleading at university. Like I'm really jealous of people who started cheerleading as a child. Like I get really jealous of like the 3-year-olds because I only found out about it at university, and I wanted to do. I've never actually said this. I wanted to do gymnastics, but the gymnastics team, like when I got there, like they stopped being a team. So I was like, okay, because I was like, I want to make friends and I want to stay fit because I'm really into fitness. And I was like, I need to do something at university where I stay fit. Like I can't not do that. So I thought I'll join cheerleading. It just looked like fun. So I thought I'd go to it. And then I just got like hooked on it when I actually went to it. And it was everything and more than I thought it was going to be. I don't know what I really expected, but when I got there, I was a bit like, oh, okay.
Oh,
and then we went to our first competition. I was like, wow, there's a lot going. Like there was so much more going on than I really thought there was going to be.
away?
I had no I was a bit like, and I only went to a university competition. So when I finally went to like an all-star one, I was really like, wow. Yeah, it was so like different. I was like, wow, okay, yeah, I need to be part of this.
Yeah, I can totally relate to that because like when we first walked into an all-star competition, it was just like, oh my god, like this is amazing.
Yeah,
like you are blown away from it, and it's a completely different world.
No, and that's the thing. I think that's the thing I love about it and the thing I don't like about it at the same time, because I feel like I want people to understand more what cheerleading like truly is, because when I don't like telling people sometimes, because they start with like, oh, who do you cheer for? And I'm like, no, we compete against ourselves. And they're like, oh, and then you have to get into the whole thing, and then they're like, oh, but is it really athletic? I'm like, it's 100% athletic. And they're like, is it though? You're just a bit like, oh, I really can't be bothered to have those chats anymore. So I'm just like, okay, yeah. But I know it is, like, I know the world I go into. I'm like, I've seen people, the sweat, the tears, the amount of conditioning people do to get to that standard. So I know it's a sport. I know it's so hard.
Oh, exactly. And I mean, like, you can see it, especially throughout like what's going on in the world. You can see it all over social. People are putting in the conditioning and all that effort, aren't they? And it's going, well, it's the only thing they can do at the minute, unfortunately. But
but it is worth it. That's the one thing I find you need, if you want to perform at your peak, you need to be conditioned. And I think obviously there's lockdown and it's unfortunate, but it is giving us a chance to really work on our bodies, to really work on conditioning, to really work on stretching, the stuff that we don't always have the time to do. So that's like, I always try and be positive. So that's kind of a silver lining to it, is that you really do have the time to stretch and condition and kind of get your mind right and try and be the best you can. So when we do go back, there's not like, oh, you've lost everything, like you've lost all your fitness, you've lost all your stamina. So when you go back, it's like another added like pressure.
Yeah. No, I completely agree with that. Like obviously everything in the world, and like you haven't been able to do as much as you have been doing, haven't you? So it's like, how has that been? And it's because obviously I followed quite a bit of your work beforehand, and then I still follow it now, not 10 a day, but it's obviously, it has had a massive effect on like everyone. But how have you personally found it, like not being able to go out and blog about the thing you love?
Yeah, well, that's like, I think personally for me, it's been hard because before we even start the book, I just like cheerleading. I love going to a competition. Like I could sit by myself as long as I'm in a good space to see the routine and watch them all day. That's something I really enjoy to do. And then I started the blog to share that with people and to kind of educate people on what cheerleading was. So I miss that. I miss going to a competition and like finding a new team, like a team I'd never seen in the flesh, or falling in love with a new team and just watching a routine. Like I miss all of that. But also, yeah, it's just as like cheer from head to toe, it's kind of thinking, what can we do now? Because I was so into a routine of, like of when the season starts, we're going to do this, and then it's showcase season, and then it's kind of like first initial competitions, and then we start thinking about world's content, and then we release the world's content, and then we start like go to the last competitions of the season, and then it's tryout season, and then we kind of roll it out again. Like I've got into such a routine of like my season. It was just it's a bit like, what do we do now? But people still want content, and I think that's been the hardest thing. To people still want content. They're like, we need, like, can you post something, do something? You just have to kind of think outside of the box. You're like, okay, what do we do now? Because there's no competitions. Like there's the virtual ones, but it's not the same as like in the flesh and seeing stuff and exposing people to new things.
Yeah, because it's like it isn't the same. Although it's great that the event organizers, they are putting on the virtual ones. Like the whole thing for me, like at a competition, the atmosphere is amazing.
Yeah.
Like, and obviously, I think that's from what I've been seeing and hearing, like that's the thing that people miss the most, as well as the cheer. Obviously, it is the whole atmosphere, and it is the whole. It's seeing the other teams, and it's nice to, although it is a competitive sport, it's nice to see the community that's there, and how teams that are competing against each other are the best of friends, and they will like they won't critique, they'll advise and say, right, you absolutely smashed it, but like next time if you did this, it'd like help you do this. And like it's great to see that, and there is all that atmosphere that I miss the most. And it's crazy.
But it's also like, I think also it's the fact that everyone in that room understands how much hard work you put in to get on the mat. And I think it's just, to be around people who get it and are supporting you, like, when you go and what I love to go and watch all kinds of teams, including my friends, but you're there and you're cheering them on, and like they feed off you, you feed off them. I think we're all missing that unit, that community, like that we can't like go to competition and just be together, enjoying what we love together. And I think we're just missing that. I've realized how much cheerleading is a community, but we really do love being like sharing those moments. Like when a team hits their routine, you're like, yes, go on. Like when they nail it, it just feels electric, and you're not even in the routine, and you're like, yeah, and everyone shares that emotion, that you're like, it's amazing, they nailed it. Like when it goes well, and when people, I love a dance section, like when they've killed it, and then a dance section comes in and people just go insane, and you just feel like, I think we're missing all that, those adrenaline and emotions, like just that happy feeling. But I also think for like the athletes, they're missing that whole day experience of, you get there, you're nervous, and you're like, oh, you feel a bit sick, and then you're like, then you go to warm-ups and you do it, and like if you have a good warm-up, you feel one way. If you have a bad one, you're like, oh, I don't know. I personally like having a bad warm-up because I feel like I'm going to do better on the mat. Like if I have a good one, it makes me it makes me more nervous, which is weird. But you get on the floor with the lights and you're just like, and you just give it your all, and like, I don't know, I think we're missing that, no matter, like in that moment, it can be good, can be bad, you can't control it, you just have to go for it and just see what happens. And then I miss the awards, even though sometimes you feel a bit, that, don't call my name. I used to always be like, don't call my name, don't come on, you want to be the last name because you want to be first. You're like, and you're holding your friend's hand so tightly. I think we're missing all that, like those emotions that we're so connected to. So it's just like, but we will get it back. We will get it back. It'll take some time.
Oh yeah, it will come back, and it is like it's just a waiting game. But it is well, hopefully it'll come back soon. Fingers crossed.
Well, everything crossed, but
hopefully, but no, it is like, obviously I've never cheered a day in my life, but for the past, since we've been doing it, it's been like it has been amazing. And the whole, like when we say the community spirit and all of that atmosphere, like when we did what was it? It was BCA University Nationals
Yeah.
was the last event we did, and understandably, loads of teams had pulled out because of what's going on.
Yeah.
But the competition itself was absolutely amazing because everyone knew effectively that
Mm.
it was the last time for a while, and it was the whole, like when people were hitting the other
Yeah. Just
teams,
like,
the whole
yeah.
arena was going crazy and screaming, and
Yeah.
it was amazing to see. But yeah, like fingers crossed it comes back very soon.
No. But can I ask, like, a question to you? How come you got into like taking pictures of cheer? I've always been curious about that. Like,
How do we get into it?
yeah.
It sort of got asked.
Ah, okay.
So basically I started doing photos 5 years ago, and just after my daughter was born. And yeah, I'd always done it, but professionally I started 5 years ago, and then we sort of went out there on my own, had a studio doing family photos, and then working for like small businesses, helping like with their visual marketing, so on their websites and things like
Yeah.
that, and like their social media sort of things. And then I had an email one day going, "Do you want to give it a go?" And that's how I got into it,
Ah,
basically.
okay.
And like my
But weren't you a bit like, oh, what is this? Or were you just like,
it
wow?
was
Well, I know.
like I had a completely different view on it to what I have now.
Yeah.
As soon as I was told, I was like, okay. I didn't realize it was a thing.
Yeah.
Like I was completely naive to it. But as soon as we started, it sort of went in all guns blazing
Yeah.
kind of thing. But no, my sister-in-law, she's been a cheerleader since she was young. I knew she did it, but I didn't realize how much. And then
Yeah.
um my brothers worked at the competitions as a spotter, like back in the day. And so that's how it sort of came about. Like they approached and said, like, the photographer that was originally doing the cheerleading is he's moving on to different things, and like, would you be willing to have a chat and have a look at it, basically? And went from there, sat down, and from like originally sitting down and talking about it probably wasn't until 18 months later that we started doing it.
Oh, okay.
So it was an
And
interesting journey.
yeah. And how, like, because obviously loads of different people take pictures, but I've always found your pictures that you really capture the, like, how did you learn to capture the right moments? Because I won't say any names, but before there used to be other people who would come to like take pictures and they just miss like a jump. And you, like, I don't know, I would assume if you watch a routine enough, you can understand when they're going to jump, but they never capture that moment. And you just, like, the amount of pictures like me and my friends used to get and just be like pyramid, they get us coming down. It's like we were probably up there for at least probably 2 counts of 8. I don't know how you missed not getting us. So
Yeah,
like,
so
how did you learn to get those moments?
like before I'd started doing it all, it was a case of I was doing action sport. So
Oh,
it
okay,
was
okay.
fast paced. So for instance, like on my resume of search, it would be, so you got rugby, football, motocross, which is a hell of a lot quicker, but
Oh, okay.
it's learning the movement and the sort of signs and the tell kind of thing
Yeah,
in the action. And like, you'll notice, especially on a new season, say the first event that you do, it's all about learning the routine,
yeah,
because then, and you still capture the photos because you've got the tell and the signs there for them, for the athletes, about, say they are going to go up into a pyramid, and you can see certain bits.
yeah.
And again, it
Okay.
is the count as well. You have, like, if you've got the count inside you, I mean, one of our photographers, Kane, if you're watching him during like events and that, you can actually see him bopping up and down.
Yeah,
because
yeah,
he's
yeah,
going to it and he's going to the camp,
yeah.
and then because he's built his knowledge as well from his daughter cheerleading
Hmm.
and dancing throughout the years, and that's how we met, is because he was coming to an event and he basically asked if he could take photos of his daughter, and we met up, had a chat, and the rest is history. He hasn't been able to get rid of me. Like, it's great. But
No,
no,
but I really do appreciate that you capture the moment correctly, because I think that was one of my it's like a frustration, because it used to be all like, we have these amazing moments, we want them to, because you can always go online and look at like photographers in America and stuff, and you see that they really capture the moment. And I used to be like, what, like some people would do it, but there wasn't like many. So that's why I love you guys' pictures, because I feel like you capture the essence of it, and like that's what you want to be expressed. You want to express like the joy we feel being a cheerleader. I can see in your pictures, and I don't know, that's I think why it just connects. I'm just like, oh, I love these pictures. I just love them. I love looking at them. I'm like, yes,
oh,
that is the
thank you very
moment. But it
much.
makes sense. No, you're welcome. You're welcome. But it
No, I
makes sense if
appreciate
you've
that.
done all the other things. Yeah.
Yeah, like we do. Obviously, I'm not saying like we do it 100% because no one's perfect.
Yeah.
But it is like you would see a difference from us taking photos of a team like at the start of the season and the end, because yeah, at the start we don't know the routine. By the end
Mm.
of it, we may have seen them 3 or 4 times throughout the season,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then when it comes to that final event or like the nationals, it's like, yeah, we know exactly what's going. But yeah, it is all about pace, and the experience that we bring as a team is like, it's incredible. Like some of the shoots that people have done, it's absolutely mental,
No, no.
basically.
I can tell that. But like the same thing, because obviously I'll sometimes have seen a routine, I don't know, so many times. I've seen it like 6 times. And I notice like first time I watch it, I'm trying to like learn it. Like, so
Mm.
next time I see it, I can tell like the difference and see how they've improved. Because that's what people want to know about. Like they want to know how the routine is improved. And I love seeing like routine from the first time I've seen it to the last time, and sometimes you're just like, this is a completely different routine, like from
Yeah.
what you originally put out to now. And that's an amazing thing, and I think that's what I love to express to people. Like I like to go and take people on a journey, and then for them to like experience like, they did this new bit in the routine that they've just added in, like they didn't have at the beginning, and like just show that. I think I try and show people the little moments, they've added in this and they've taken this out, and what do you think about this? Because I think it's all about like connecting people and talking to them, and just, I don't know, just sharing our joy. That's how I see it.
Oh yeah, without a
Yeah.
doubt. Without a doubt. I completely agree with you there. But like
Yeah.
again, with us, it's all about working as a team as well.
Mhm.
Like for us as well. And like I said, from the experience we've got, it's talking to each other. Like we'll have, if we were to have like the photographers on the mat, like I've said, Kane, we've got Alistair as well. They'll be firing photos back at me, and we're constantly communicating on the phone.
Oh,
And it's not a case of like critiquing it, it's just like adjusting different settings. And
mm.
I won't go in depth on that because it can bore the hell out of people. But
Oh
no,
no, I think it's fascinating because your pictures always look very bright. Like I don't know, I love your pictures, but they always look really vibrant, and I always wonder, how do you get, like, sometimes it's really like the lights are in focus and the colors are really bright, but the person is still in focus. I know that
yeah,
to you, you're probably like, oh, that's obvious, but I've just seen a lot of pictures where it's like, the lights will be off and like blurry, and then the person will be a bit like, their face will be in, but their hands will be like shaky, and I don't really like that. So I don't like, it's just fascinating to see how you just capture a moment, and it's proper a moment, like it's all in focus, so you're like, yes.
yes.
Yeah.
But no, it is like, yeah, it's all about the experience. And like I
Mm.
said, like 9 times out of 10, yeah, we can get the perfect image, but that 1 out of 10 is the one that we're always working to get,
Okay.
because it is like, and the guys would agree, they beat themselves up when there is that moment and they haven't got it. Or for instance, there's a photo that we did in Scotland, perfect image to like the naked eye,
Yeah.
but the photographer was beating himself up because the slightest bit of the foot was out of focus.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's like they're constantly trying to go, right, I want that, this is what I want,
Yeah.
this is how.
Yeah.
It's not, it's all or nothing, basically.
No, but I think that's just like a hunger thing and a thing to know more. Because when I'm like I'm not like you guys, I'm no one, but I'm always trying to capture moments. And like when you, like you said, when you watch routine, there's certain things you learn to like focus on. Like I know when to zoom in because it's going into the pyramid, or to space out. And I've only learned that stuff over time. But sometimes catching like a look of someone, it can be so like, I don't know, really connecting. People really relate to that. So it's all about catching those moments. But yeah, like when you miss something, you're just like, ah! Like for me, like if I remember one time my it was a really good routine, and like my memory card was full, and I was so annoyed.
No.
I got like the second half of it, but I was literally like,
You're kidding me.
I was in a bad mood. I was like, you've got like, and it just goes beep beep, and I was like,
no.
oh, I'm so annoyed. And then you can't capture it back, so you just like, so now I'm more like, I check a lot more. But you only learn that over time. But I still remember that moment. I was livid with myself, and everyone was like, it's fine. I was like, it's not. Just leave it. But yeah, you just have to get over it.
Brilliant.
Yeah. And I love faces. That's one thing I love about cheerleading as well. It's like people go over the top, and I fully am here for it. Like I love when they just, like for me, the more ridiculous you feel, the better the picture is. Like that's how I feel it is. You need to go over the top to get a good, just to be in the moment. But I love watching, like some of my favorite performers are performers who just go over the top. Like you got a picture of a girl named PK. She's on, well no, I think she was on Cheer Force Odyssey, but I think she's on Cover Dinner. I love watching it. She has the big hair and she goes insane, and it's a joy to watch. Like I always tell people, if you think you're going hard, add like another 50%, because that's what I want to see, because those are the people you remember. You don't remember the person who's just doing a grin. Like I get it, like it feels nice for you, but I'm not that close enough to see your grin. Like I need you to go really hard and give it everything you've got. I want people to, like, you should kind of come out off that mat feeling out of breath, like because you've literally given it everything, because I believe it makes so much difference. Like, so one thing I say to people, I'm like, we have like our levels, and the judges have watched like how many level 1s, how many level 2s, but the thing they haven't seen is your personality, your essence. So why are you holding it back? Like I remember, like I've coached many times, but when I first started coaching at university, and I was like, I told my university team, I was like, I don't care if we like get, I don't know, if you drop the stunts and stuff. Obviously I don't want to drop the stunts, but I said, like, at the time used to get 5 per performance, and I was like, if we get a 4, I'm going to be furious. I was like, there's no reason why we can't get a 5. Like, even if everything falls apart, you can still perform. There is no reason why you can't perform. So I've always like pushed performance, because I believe it can do so much. Like it can really make a routine look better if you're trying to perform it than if you just like. So yeah, I love performance. Performance is like key. Obviously I need you to have the skills, but the performance, just like there's no point you performing and like it's not good, but when they come together, it is just like, yes,
magic.
Yeah, hopefully. But I think even more so, I think the gutting thing for university athletes is like, for a lot of teams, because I speak to a lot of university athletes, it was their last competition, and a lot of them didn't go, so they don't feel like they've had a full, like they didn't feel like they had the end that they imagined, because no one was going to imagine, obviously, that this pandemic would come and shut everything down. So a lot of people just didn't have the seasons they felt they kind of deserved. And for a lot of, once you leave uni, that uni team is done, so it just feels a bit like lackluster, a bit like, oh. And that was like heart-wrenching for me to not have that.
Oh yeah.
For them to not have that uni moment, to because All-Star, I think they're different, but they're the same. But like university, I don't know, you get so involved because you have to fight for everything and you do everything. Like you have to, most of the time you're helping to organize the uniforms, the transport. You're so involved in it and you're so invested that to feel like it didn't happen is just a bit like, oh.
Yeah.
It's just sad. I just feel for uni students like a lot, and even this year, because we don't know what's going to happen this year. Yeah.
So throughout the industry, who would you say is your biggest inspiration?
Well, there's loads of different, like, I think for me, like one of the people that really inspires me is like they're called like Lisa and Kenny, but the person who I really like look up to is a lady called Lisa, and she runs a program called like Spring Tumbles, and they've been around for years, like years and years and years. And I don't know, they just seem to like make an effort to connect with everyone, and like they're really, because they're Canadian, but they work a lot in America, and they're like part of like Cheer Sport Sharks, and you know, they could just stay there and just be living the life, because you know, Great White Sharks do amazing things, but they make an effort to like come across and help us, like, and help other places. I know they're quite international now at the moment, but they were quite international, so they really inspire me, and like making an effort to reach out to people and try and help like elevate everyone, because I know in England we're like desperate for knowledge. We want to learn because we want to be, I know in time we will be winning worlds, and once we do, it will motivate everyone to be like, we can do it, we can do it. But we don't have that knowledge because we are behind America, because obviously we didn't start, you know, they created it, we started a lot later, so we're still trying to get that education, and I appreciate that they are helping to share that education. So they motivate me a lot to just try and, like, with Cheer from Head to Toe, I want to highlight how amazing UK cheerleading is, like, because I think a lot of people don't know. That's why I started, because I used to go to these competitions and then there'd be nothing online, like there'd be no representation of what I deem cheerleading to be, and that used to like frustrate me to the point where I was just like, I'm going to write about it, because I just think, I was just like, people need to know, and there's so much going on. That used to irritate me. They'd be like, is there anything going on? And I'd be like, there's a ton of stuff going on. How do you not know?
No one knew.
Yeah, but no one knew. Yeah.
No, that's fair enough, and well done for getting out there.
Yeah. But no, I think I was crazy. Like, I don't know if I would have done it like now, but I just don't know. I think I just got so annoyed, and like when I get annoyed about something, I just think, right, I'm gonna do it. And I just did. And, develop from there.
That's it. Like, would you, if you was going to start, actually, looking back, what would you have told yourself back then, knowing what you know now?
Probably to start sooner. I would have told myself to start sooner, to start sooner, and to not be like, I used to be quite shy like back then, so to just go and start talking to people more, because that's what I found. Like when I started just talking to people and just asking people questions, people are generally quite like open to it, but I got really like, I got nervous, and I didn't ask people. But I'd be like, start sooner and just start talking to people and just ask them about stuff, because generally people are quite willing to share. So
very good advice for your younger self. No, obviously we touched a bit on it earlier on, but when it does return, like, what's the one thing that you're looking forward to the most?
I think for me, like, just being there, physically there. I think just being there, just watching people perform, because I think like when we do like really get back to it, I think it's going to be electric, and it's going to be such a moment to like be a part of. So I'm going to try and be as many competitions as possible, just to watch people come out, and like, but I hope we've also learned that, you know, it's being part of a team is what we really love about cheerleading. Yeah, we want to go to the best competition. Yeah, we want to win worlds. Like, these are achievements, but I think what we've really learned is the importance of being on a team. So just like when you get out there on your mat, just enjoy the moment. Like, don't worry about if you win or you lose. Just enjoy being back on the mat again and performing and just giving it your all, because that's what we miss really. If we could be somehow back in our gyms doing the routines with no one watching, I think we'd be so happy. Like right now, we realize that we can't do anything. So just to embrace the moment, that's what I think I'm excited to see again.
Oh yeah, no, it would be lovely to see the high spirits and the screaming stadium. And
yes, I can't wait. And when, you know, like when a routine's going on and everyone's so involved in it, and you're like, amazing, and like people are clapping, cheering. I love watching parents as well when they get so excited for their like kids, and they're there with their phones, like just like probably not filming it very well because they're moving so much, but you know, they're so like, oh, that's my child.
No, that's it. Everyone gets into it, don't they? And it is great to see. And like the coaches, they're going wild on the floor, like like it is.
I love watching coaches like because they are just as invested. Obviously they put their heart and soul into it, but they sometimes, it's like, I get worried that are they going to have like a heart attack or something, because their body is just going for it. And when they like, I feel like they feel it just as much as the athlete does. Like, you watch them and they're just like giving it the raw, like, and when they don't hit, you just see their faces like, but then they try and like smile because to keep the athletes going, but really they look like they're like, oh no. So
no, it is great to see. Like, we've definitely caught some brilliant photos in the past of expressions and all that. So it is it is good fun. But, like, what's your plans for the future, like, as here from head to toe?
I've got like I don't know, many different things and many things coming this year, but I think I've realized, like, I've been doing this for a while now, and I think I realized I want to, I don't know, connect with people more. I'd love to help, like, teach people more stuff. So that's kind of, don't want to give too much away, but I want to help teach people stuff. And I don't know, because there's so much, people are eager to learn, and I feel like I've learned so much and done so many different things. I'd love to share that with people, because I think once we have that knowledge, like, I always say it all the time, like, we're going to be like just winning everything, just winging everything. But I really hope once we get our knowledge, we can kind of get our own style, because I think that's the one thing I would say I feel like we lack, like, right now, because we're learning and I feel like we're chasing America, we haven't got our own like style yet. So I'm hoping once we get that knowledge and we get that confidence, we'll have the confidence to kind of like do our own thing and like show how it's like UK cheer, if you get what I mean, like put our kind of stamp on it. That's the fun thing. But I think once we get into Olympics and stuff, I think everything will really, it's going to be so, I think it's going to be so different but so exciting, because we'll be in the Olympics and I think it'll be totally different, and I can't wait for that.
No, it will be amazing to see.
Oh
and it'd be like watching, well, I remember streaming Worlds last year. It'd be like that when it was like, come on, going crazy in the living room for the team.
It'll be so, I feel like it will be so surreal, like, once we're in the Olympics, because that's like that's been like a goal for so long. So for it to actually be achieved, it'll just be like, wow. Oh,
without a doubt.
And it'll be different.
Without a doubt. And like, it wouldn't just affect UK cheer, it'd be the whole world, obviously. But no, it would be fab to see. But like, so for anyone that doesn't know you or hasn't seen your blog, whereabouts can they find it, and where can they find you, like, online? They can get involved.
And I love to chat. I love to chat. I love to debate stuff, because I'm always really open to like different people's opinions or different people's perspective on things. I'm always interested to see how people see the world and see cheerleading. So, but we have like, we're on Instagram, it's at Cheer from Head to Toe UK. We're always on there having like debates about stuff, like, what do you think, how do you feel, I love chatting with people. We're also on Facebook and Instagram, Facebook and Twitter, and then we have a WordPress account, which is Cheer from Head to Toe at wordpress.com. But and everything, I have so much knowledge because I've been doing it for so long, so there's so much stuff about all kinds of different cheerleading, like how to get into cheerleading, like uniforms, like worlds, like what the UK does specifically. And obviously I made a conscious effort for it to be like UK focused, because I could have done everything, but like there's enough about everything. I felt like, no, I want to just focus on the UK, because I want to educate people about what we're doing and how we're doing it and how it's different and how it's amazing. So that was a conscious effort for it to always be UK and what we're doing, because I feel like the world needs to know, even like the people, because I get a lot of people from America who follow the blog, which I think is amazing, and I'm glad I can share what we're doing in the UK and why we're amazing and why we're going to take all your rings and crowns and stuff. Just watch this space. I'm always saying that.
No, brilliant. No, well, thank you very much for joining me today, and it's lovely to virtually meet you. And hopefully I can meet people in the flesh, like, because I've talked to so many people. It'll be good when I can be like, and give a hug. That's the one thing I miss so much. I've realized I really miss hugs. I miss like hugging people and just being, oh, how are you? Yeah, no, without a doubt. I completely agree with that.
Yeah.